Covered the Antarctic, the first thing he did was interview it. You know, they went out there with a camera crew and they just interviewed the icebergs and the glaciers and they talked to the snow and then they went raving mad. And that's pretty much par for the course in show business.
Now, you've been recording for about 10 years, about 5 years here in the States, and during that time you've gotten a lot of critical acclaim, a lot of college airplay, but you really haven't broken into what might be considered to be the mainstream. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, when you want to fly, you take a jumbo jet, and when you want to go on the road, you take a bus. It's like asking a bus why it isn't a jet plane. You know, if I wanted to be a top 40 act, I'd go out and be a top 40 act.
So that doesn't bother you then?
No, it doesn't bother me. Anything that bothers me is people getting the wrong idea, you know. And sometimes the promotional machinery gets out of your hands.
Now, something I didn't know until recently is that in addition to being a musician, you're also an artist. Now, this seems to be the case with a lot of musicians where they started out in art school and then sort of progressed into being musicians. Is this the case with you? Do you think that was the case with you?
It's very different. It's like being a poet. You can't make any money being a poet. You know, I make a reasonable living as a so-called cult figure involving standing up with an electric guitar and an audience and stuff like that. But I wouldn't, it's very hard to do it as a painter or as an actor. I mean, this is a comparatively easy business to sort of get into if you're not too stupid or not too clever.
So does the inspiration for your artwork come from the same place that the inspiration for your music does?
I think it's one particular side of the brain. The brain's got two halves called something like Cindy and Ralph. And the Cindy side is practical and the Ralph side is intuitive, if you like. And I guess mine is the Ralph side. You know. It's the same process as dreaming, essentially, or it's the same process whereby this mineral water rained on the Alps 200 years ago, 2,000 years ago, and then it finally comes through years later. And it's put in bottles, but it's taken a long time for it to filter through. And so our dreams, or the way I paint or write songs, is the same process. There are experiences that happen to me and race memories and, you know, things going back to the time when we were all mud sharks or dolphins or whatever. A variety of apparently random experiences are filtered through and then they come out in my songs. Madonna of the walls, I wonder where we cross.
Do you try to incorporate your artistic sense into your videos as well?
Well, I did until the last two were made by another guy, directed by a man called Mark Romanek, and I had nothing to do with them. The earlier videos we made, we did that. Yeah, me and Tony Moon directed them ourselves, and I think they were brilliant because the budget was so low we couldn't afford to have lip sync or anything like that, so we evolved our own way of doing things. And they weren't really pop promos, they were visual images to accompany a piece of music. A pop promo sells the artist. They want product identification, they want the face of whoever it is, Robyn Hitchcock or Samantha Fox or Julian Lennon or, you know, Axl Rose or someone. They want the face in there. I frankly think the process sucks, you know, and I could kick myself for getting involved in it. I'm not going to do it again. There's a justice in this world, and she's cruel but she's fair, and I know just what she's called.
When you're on stage, what are you thinking about up there?
I'm thinking about anything. I could be thinking about burning the frying pan back home, or why I don't write songs about the massacres in Beijing. I think the thing about playing live is that it's much more risky than the studio. I'm worried about screwing up the solos and things, and that makes it quite exciting, really.
What does success mean to you as a musician?
Success is something you can never really have. Because people who want to be successful are people who want to be something they're not. And when you've achieved that thing, then you are it, so you're not going to want to be it anymore.